Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me today. Before we start, I just want to remind everyone that I just came out with a video recently where I am holding a Jeffree Star giveaway. If you want to be part of that giveaway and make a submission, please go check that video out for rules. And now, here's the video. Today we're starting with Beauty Bay's Bright 2.0. This is a palette that is from the Beauty Bay website. This is from a brand from England. I believe Beauty Bay is a UK brand, so this does come from overseas. A palette like this is $20, but I believe you can actually buy this same exact palette for $16. So this is kind of like a rainbow palette. You see there on top, this is by Beauty Bay. Let's see if we can get some more light. And it's just pretty much all completely black. Some writing there on the back, describing the collection. The ingredients are on the bottom there. You pull it out, it's bubble wrapped very well. It's got that double bubble. I've turned the lights on, so hopefully that helps, although it might look a little yellow and orange right now. This is what the palette looks like. This is the Bright 2.0. I really like, it's just very simple packaging. You know, I think it's quite travel friendly. It's about, the size of your hand, quite thin. I really love the bright green packaging. I love how it's double bubbled inside. It's cruelty free. This palette is vegan as well, and there's 16 shades. So let's look at these 16 shades. Here is the palette. We do have a mirror here that I'm covering up, but this is pretty much a nice, simple, basically kind of like a rainbow palette. This palette really called to me because I felt like this was a palette that made a lot of sense for how I do my own makeup. You have your shimmery green and your matte green, your shimmery blue and just your matte blue, a gold, a matte yellow. Every color has its matte color and its shimmery color. That made a lot of sense. And then you have this wonderful row right here where you have a white and a black, and you have a warm leaning brown and kind of more of a cool leaning brown. And that helps you, these three colors help you darken your looks, and a color like this helps you lighten your looks. So that's one of the reasons I got this palette. It's one of the reasons this palette called out to me. But once I actually used it, I've been using it there this past week. I actually traveled with this palette, so I will say I think it is travel friendly. I think the box is a little bulky, but I think overall the palette itself actually is quite travel friendly. I did have some troubles with this palette that I've never experienced before with Beauty Bay. I've tried two of their really big, like one of their biggest palettes, the by Beauty Bay palettes that have like, I don't know, 48 shades or something, and that formula was really well. I love the Beauty Bay shimmer formula, but I think there's some shades in here that didn't really do as well as I thought they were going to do. So that was a bit of a bummer. I also think some of the shades in here might have been a little patchy when I tried to blend colors together. So I think for this entire row, the greens and the blues, I pretty much just used them by themselves and just darkened it with, the browns and the blacks that you see here. But for the rest of the colors, I used the pinks and oranges together, and then I used the purples and the yellows together. And I think once I tried to apply it on top of each other, it didn't, especially the mattes didn't really do as well as I thought they were going to do. So that was a bit of a letdown, but there is definitely some good shades. I think overall I was expecting a bit more. I don't think it's a bad palette, but when you're a person who has a very big makeup palette collection, I don't think this is really necessary to have in my personal collection. I don't have a lot of rainbow palettes, but I feel like I can find these shades somewhere else. I feel like Heather, Satin, and a shade like Nectar are different shimmer formulas, and I feel like you can also kind of see that in the pan, because look at how what the B looks like here versus what the B looks like over here. And it's not because I used one more than the other. I think it's just because it really is holding different formulas. So let's do some swatches. I think I'm going to start off with the shimmers I just talked about, so you can see what I'm talking about. So we have Nectar here, which I think is kind of a more drier, kind of almost clay formula. I don't want to say it's clay, but that's what the feeling feels like. That's what the texture feels like. And then we have this one over here, which is Satin. Now this Satin reminds me of the Ofra Spark Lights Toppers, which is why I also feel like I don't really need this palette, because I'm like, well, I already have that shade. If I was going to steal a shade from here, it would be Nectar. You know I love my yellow. I love yellow so much. This is the color I would steal from this palette. So there's those three right there. So we have Heather, we have Satin, and then we have Nectar. Oh, that gold! Oh my, do you see the gold? Oh my goodness. Look at the gold, I love the gold. So you can definitely tell there is a silver sparkle in here. This one's more metallic. I think that's maybe what it is. This is more metallic, this is more sparkly, and I think this is kind of just giving both. Like, what do you guys think? On my hand, oh, I love the Beauty Bay Shimmer formula. If you are also a shimmer girl, you have to try the Beauty Bay Shimmer formulas. This is what I thought I was going to be getting when I tried Glamlight for the first time, and I absolutely did not. Like, Glamlight has nothing on the Beauty Bay formula. So pretty. Next, let's just try some mattes so you can see what that looks like. I'm trying to figure out maybe some standout colors in here, but I think overall for this palette, the mattes were pretty consistent. I know I've already tried these colors, but I kind of want to, let's see, let's do Grape Soda, because I thought that this wasn't going to be as good as it was, and it was, I think, a bit more decent than I thought it was going to be. And then we'll go with, let's do Fire. And then we can do Kale. So there's those three right there. So here we go with Grape Soda, Fire, and Kale. Oh my goodness. Kale got excited. Like, I think they're very quite pigmented. And I sometimes, like, I don't want to say it's always the formula. For me, I was having trouble kind of blending some of these colors together. I feel like they kind of ended up patchy in some points, but I also want to say that could just be my skill set, and that's why I always pass palettes like this to the next person, because even though I might have been able to work with it, someone else might be able to work with it. And I think overall I really do love the Beauty Bay formula. I don't think I'm going to keep this palette, only because I feel like I have colors like these in other palettes. If I was going to steal anything from this, which, like I said, to me this is just like the Spark Lights topper from Ofra, which I already have, but I would probably end up stealing Sunflower and Nectar, because y'all know I love yellows. I would steal those too. I think these worked beautifully, the green and the blue. They worked exactly how I expected them to work. I think Phoenix and Nectar, which there's Phoenix and Heather, these two are more metallic than I thought they were going to be. I really think they're a different formula from the Satin and from Nectar. I think Nectar, the green and the blue and the gold, I think those aren't the same formula, because I think some of the best in here in this palette. I really love the outlay of this palette. Overall, I really do love the Bright 2.0. I do recommend this palette. It's going to be gone from my collection, personally, because like I said, I feel like I already have these colors, but I really think y'all should try this yourself if you have not tried the by Beauty Bay brand palettes. I think this is wonderful. There's different colors, there's obviously different color stories. This is one of them, and I definitely approve. I think this is a great kind of little medium-sized color palette where it's not too much and the colors make sense, and I love it for that. So I hope you'll have a wonderful day and have a great day, y'all. See y'all later.